Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, good afternoon. Please, if you can hear me, let me know in the comment section. Good afternoon, good afternoon. Please let me know in the comment section if you can hear me. Please let me know in the comment section if you can hear me. I would really appreciate that. Please. Good afternoon, everyone. Please let me know in the comment section if you can hear me. Okay, very good. Yes, you can hear me. Thank you so much. Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Driving School Tutorial. My name is Frank. Today, we are going to answer some questions together under a topic, distanza di sicurezza. Very good. Thank you so much. Distanza di sicurezza. So, before we proceed to answer some questions under this topic, we are first of all going to look at the definition of the topic itself, distanza di sicurezza. Here it said, la distanza di sicurezza è la distanza che ogni veicolo deve mantenere da quello che lo procede per potersi arrestare quando necessario senza tamponarlo. That is to say, this safety distance is the distance that you need to maintain from the vehicle that you are following in order to be able to stop if necessary, so that you don't hit that vehicle that you are following. Example of it is this. For example, if we look at this image here, we have vehicle A and vehicle B. Sorry, this is supposed to, let me do it like this. There is an error here. So this is supposed to be vehicle B, right? So we have vehicle A and vehicle B. Now, in this vehicle A and vehicle B, the definition is telling us that this distance here, the yellow part, is the distance that this vehicle here, vehicle B, need to maintain from vehicle A. So take note, the safety distance here, it is vehicle A that is responsible for it, which means it is vehicle A or the driver vehicle A that will need to keep this distance from vehicle A. So please remember, because there is also a question for this. And remember, safety distance need to always be maintained, not in some certain velocity, because there is a question that will tell you that you can only maintain the safety distance if you get to a certain velocity. No. Whether you are moving small or in a high speed or low speed, you need to maintain safety distance. And take note, it is the red vehicle that we need to maintain this safety distance, because it is the red vehicle that is behind this vehicle A, which at the end of the day, it is the red vehicle that will need this space to be able to stop if there is necessity to do that. So that is it. Now let us proceed to the first question. Let us proceed to the first question. Okay, now question number 1. It said, quando si circola in autostrada è possibile diminuire la distanza di sicurezza in quanto non ci si aspetta una frenata improvvisa da veicolo che procede. So what is our response to this question number 1? Quando si circola in autostrada è possibile diminuire la distanza di sicurezza in quanto non ci si aspetta una frenata improvvisa da veicolo che procede. Okay, thank you so much. Now, please let us quickly respond to this question. If it is vero, leave it in the comment section. If it is falso, leave it in the comment section. Quando si circola in autostrada è possibile diminuire la distanza di sicurezza, in quanto non ci si aspetta una frenata improvvisa da veicolo che procede. Okay, we're not going to be waiting too long, but please, the earlier you respond, the better it is. Now, take note, or let me help. Let me help to give you an advantage to respond. Now, the question is saying that when you are circulating in autostrada, which is highway, that it is possible for you to reduce your safety distance. As long as you are not expecting unexpected stop from the vehicle that you are following. Okay, so now let's take note. For example, because that questioner is telling you, let's assume now, we have this vehicle B. Remember, I said this is vehicle B, that A there is error. So vehicle B, which is the red vehicle, maintaining this distance. In order for this vehicle B to reduce this distance, do you know what the vehicle B is going to do? It's going to increase its speed. So it's going to speed up. You understand? Go faster in order to close this gap, because remember, this vehicle is on motion, this one is on motion. So for this one to be able to reduce this distance, it need to speed up, it need to increase its speed. You understand? Which is not true. You understand? Because that place is telling us that because it's not expecting unexpected stop in autostrada. No, because in autostrada, you also need to maintain safety distance. Look at them here. You see distance that these vehicles are maintaining from each other. To me, this one is too small. So you see it here. All vehicles maintain safety distance. So it is not true that in autostrada, you need to reduce your safety distance as long as you are not expecting unexpected stop from the vehicle that you are following. No, the answer is false, because safety distance need to always be maintained. You understand? You need to always maintain it, and not because you are in autostrada, now you are not expecting unexpected stop from the vehicle that you are following, then you have to reduce it. No, it is falso. Now let's dive into the question number 2. It said, la distanza di sicurezza deve essere aumentata qualora sia difficile valutare il comportamento del conducente che procede. Vero o falso? La distanza di sicurezza deve essere aumentata qualora sia difficile valutare il comportamento del conducente che procede. Vero o falso? La distanza di sicurezza deve essere aumentata qualora sia difficile valutare il comportamento del conducente che procede. Okay, so please, while we are responding to this question, I would like you to like this video, share it with your friends, invite somebody to join so that he or she can also benefit from these explanations. And I appreciate you as you do so. Now, the question number 2, it said, la distanza di sicurezza deve essere aumentata qualora sia difficile valutare il comportamento del conducente che procede, which means safety distance need to be increased, or it need to be increased. At that time, you find it difficult to evaluate the behavior of the driver of the vehicle that you are following. It is true. Let's assume you are following a vehicle and you are not able to understand what is happening because maybe the person is driving, recklessly, or you're not understanding what is happening. You understand? So, in that case, you need to increase the safety distance because it might be that this vehicle is about to stop or one or two things is about to happen or the vehicle is faulty. So unexpected, braking might just happen, which will require you to stop your vehicle immediately. In that case, you need to increase the safety distance, and the answer is vero. La distanza di sicurezza deve essere aumentata qualora sia difficile valutare il comportamento del conducente che procede. The answer is vero to question number 2. Now, question number 3. It says, la distanza di sicurezza deve essere almeno uguale ai metri che il veicolo percorre durante il tempo di reazione. Vero o falso to question number 3? La distanza di sicurezza deve essere almeno uguale ai metri che il veicolo percorre durante il tempo di reazione. True or false? La distanza di sicurezza deve essere almeno uguale ai metri che il veicolo percorre durante il tempo di reazione. Vero o falso? Question number 3. Okay. Now, let us explain this question number 3. It said, la distanza di sicurezza deve essere almeno uguale ai metri che il veicolo percorre durante il tempo di reazione. Now, the question is, what is tempo di reazione? Because the question is telling us that the safety distance need to be at least equal to the meters that the vehicle covered during a reaction time. Now, let us check what is reaction time. Please, I would like you to pay a very close attention because these explanations will help us to answer so many questions under this topic, distanza di sicurezza. Now, here, the reaction time or the tempo di reazione, as I define it here, said il tempo di reazione è il tempo che intercorre dal momento della percezione di una situazione di pericolo a quando si inizia a frenare, inizia la frenata, which means reaction time is the time between the moment you perceive a dangerous situation and when you begin braking. You understand? For example, let's assume now that this is a vehicle And this vehicle is moving towards this direction. And this is another vehicle that stopped to allow the passage of this pedestrian. So as this pedestrian is about to cross, this vehicle have the obligation to give right of way to this pedestrian, to allow this pedestrian to cross the road. But look, this is a dangerous situation for the driver of this vehicle. Then this driver of this vehicle now sighted this vehicle that stopped. But take note to this yellow sign here. When this driver sighted this vehicle, what happened? His foot was still on the accelerator pedal. So he was still accelerating. Now, before you know what, then he now realized that this is a dangerous situation. Then he now have to remove his leg from the accelerator and, take it to the brake. You understand? So during that time that he removed his leg from the accelerator pedal to the brake pedal and start applying the brake, he already covered a distance. Okay, because remember, if I need this one, point 1 and point 2, the point 1 is where he started the danger. Then before he removed his leg from the accelerator pedal and apply it to the brake pedal, he already covered a distance which led to point 2. So from point 1 to point 2, or point A to point B, that is the reaction time. You understand? Now remember, Now remember, we said he started applying the brake here. Now, when he started applying the brake, after some distance, then he was able to stop the vehicle. So this is where he started the danger. This is where he started applying the brake, and this is where he was able to stop the vehicle. So you see, during this time, he covered two distances or two spaces. You understand? Two different spaces. The space that took him to react before applying the brake, and the space that took him to stop the vehicle from hitting the vehicle in front of him. At the end of the day, we can now call this first space that he covered as a spatio di reazione. Then the time it took this driver to carry out this, changing of leg from the accelerator pedal to the brake pedal is known as the tempo di reazione, which is the reaction time. You understand? It's known as tempo di reazione. Then the time where he started to apply the brake is called spazio di frenatura, which is time where he started to apply the brake to where the vehicle stopped. It's called spazio di frenatura. Then, putting both of them together, spazio di reazione plus spazio di frenatura will now give you spazio totale di arresto, which you must have come across while doing some of these quizzes. So, spazio totale di arresto is the space that it took you to react plus the space that it took you to stop your vehicle. The whole of it is called spazio totale di arresto. But we are not interested in spazio totale di arresto in this question. What we are interested in is spazio di reazione. Spazio di reazione, which is this one here. You understand? And this spazio di reazione, the question there is telling you that as in the distance that you need to keep from the vehicle that you are following is supposed to be at least equal to this space here. If I name it A and B, which means that question is telling you that the distance that you are supposed to, let me say, if these two vehicles are moving, The question is telling you that the distance that this vehicle need to keep from this vehicle is supposed to be at least, which is the minimal distance, supposed to be at least the reaction space, which is the time that will take you to react. And the answer is 0. Because don't forget that this same minimal distance or space is the same distance that you cover in 1 second. We'll get to that one as we proceed, because if we're not able to answer, maybe I believe even today is not going to be enough to deal with this distanza de sicurezza. Maybe even next week or thereabout, I don't know yet. Some of that time we'll definitely still be looking into some questions under this distanza de sicurezza. But however, what they are telling you here is that when you are following a vehicle, the distance that you are supposed to keep from that vehicle is supposed to be at least equal to the reaction time. You understand? Or this distance that you covered during your reaction time. And the answer is 0. As I said, we'll go more deeper on that as we proceed. So take note, la distanza di sicurezza deve essere almeno uguale ai metri che il veicolo percorre durante il tempo di reazione. And the answer is 0. Please, if there is anything you don't understand, please do not hesitate to ask question in the comment section. Ask question in the comment section, whether the words, the explanations, ask. We are here to learn. So that is it. Now let's move to question number 4, sorry. Question number 4 said, lo spazio totale di arresto è pari allo spazio percorso nel tempo di reazione più quello percorso durante la frenata. I think we have just answered this question in anticipation if you pay close attention. But what is your response? Lo spazio totale di arresto è pari allo spazio percorso nel tempo di reazione più quello percorso durante la frenata. Vero o falso? Question number 4. What is our response to question number 4? Lo spazio totale di arresto è pari allo spazio percorso nel tempo di reazione più quello percorso durante la frenata. I'm not getting a response. Please. If you don't know, you just write, I don't know, or no idea is better, so that I don't keep waiting, believing that you are, about to respond. So if you don't know it, just write no idea. It will enable me to proceed so that we don't waste too much time. Lo spazio totale di arresto è pari allo spazio percorso nel tempo di reazione più quello percorso durante la frenata. Okay, so if we pay close attention while we answer this question, there is something I wrote here. I said spazio di reazione plus spazio di frenatura. I said spazio totale di arresto. That is to say, this one plus this one is what give you this one. So the question now is asking us the same thing. Very good, thank you. So the question now is asking us the same thing, which is question number 4. It said, lo spazio totale di arresto è pari allo spazio percorso nel tempo di reazione più quello percorso durante la frenata. That is to say, look at how they started it. It said, lo spazio totale di arresto, that is this space now, is equal to this one plus this one. And the answer is 0. You understand? Because the two spaces, this one, because take note, when they said lo spazio totale di arresto, they are asking you of the total space that it takes you to stop. Remember this red vehicle here was once here. Was it there? No, sorry. It was once here, right? Yes, it was once here. Everything started from here. So from here, he covered a distance where he was trying to react to apply the brake. Then from here, he started applying the brake. Then before before he was able to stop here. So spazio totale di arresto that they are asking you is the total space that it took the driver to stop the vehicle, and which we say it is the combination of spazio di reazione and spazio di frenatura. So two of them is what make spazio totale di arresto. Therefore, the answer is 0. Lo spazio totale di arresto è pari allo spazio percorso nel tempo di reazione più quello percorso durante la frenata. The answer is 0. So let's move to question number 5. It said, lo spazio totale di arresto è indipendente dalle condizioni dell'asfalto. Now, some questions, if you want to understand them, understand the words, you understand? If you don't understand maybe any of the words, for example, in this case now, lo spazio totale di arresto, I believe you must have, this question from here to here is clear to you. Now, this word here might make it difficult for you to understand. This word here might make it difficult for you to understand. So sometimes while you are responding to questions, especially maybe when if it's a question you don't know, try to figure out what is the word, because it must be either a word or a phrase in that a sentence that is making it difficult for you to understand. So try to figure that one out. You understand? So here now, if there is anything that is making you not to understand it, let that be your question. It could be the word, indipendente, or it could be the word asfalto or condizioni, or, just try to do that even while you do quiz on your own. Okay, so lo spazio totale di arresto è indipendente dalle condizioni di asfalto. Vero o falso? Question number 4. Sorry, question number 5. Lo spazio totale di arresto è indipendente dalle condizioni dell'asfalto. Okay, so what this question is telling us is that the total space that you need to stop your vehicle does not depend. Independente means does not depend of the condition or depend on the condition of the asphalt. That is to say, the condition of the road, you have no effect, which is not true, because, for example, this is the spazio totale di arresto, right? Now, if, for example, you are having this kind of situation here, where you have the road filled with snow, definitely, if you are applying the brake of your vehicle, because of the lack of grip between the tire and the asphalt, due to the snow that you're having on the road, there will be less reaction or less contact between the tire and the ground level. So therefore, increasing the space that you needed to stop your vehicle. So you see, it's reacting to it. It depends on it. So whether your vehicle is going to stop earlier or is going to stop later, it depends on the condition of the asphalt. Therefore, the answer to that question is falso. Lo spazio totale di arresto è indipendente dalle condizioni dell'asfalto. No, falso. If the question had been lo spazio totale di arresto dipende dalle condizioni dell'asfalto, then it should have been vero. But in this case, it's falso. Or it would have been vero, but in this case, it's falso because it depends on the condition of the asphalt. So the answer is falso. Now, question number 6. Before we answer the question number 6, please, if you are not in our Zoom class, remember you can join us by reaching out to me through this number that you are seeing here, 388-643-1524. You have 2 days of free classes, and that is where we explain things in details, taking them from topic by topic. So that is it. Question number 6. It said, lo spazio totale di arresto non dipende dalla velocità. Vero o falso? Lo spazio totale di arresto non dipende dalla velocità. True or false? Lo spazio totale di arresto non dipende dalla velocità. Lo spazio totale di arresto non dipende dalla velocità. True or false? Okay. Now, the question is telling us that the total space that you need to stop your vehicle does not depend, sorry, is it the total space? Spazio totale di arresto, yes. The total space that you need to stop your vehicle, which is spazio di reazione and the spazio di frenatura, does not depend on the speed that you are driving. It is not true because it depends on the speed. The more you speed, the more you will, it will take you time to stop your vehicle. Now, let's take this as example. Okay. Now, let's assume that this incident happened inside Centro Abitato. Please, who can remember the maximum speed inside Centro Abitato? Massimo di velocità in Centro Abitato, as in massimo velocità in Centro Abitato. Who can remind us? Who can remind us? Centro Abitato. Limite massimo di velocità. limite massimo di velocità in centro abitato. Limite massimo di velocità in centro abitato. Okay, very good. 50 kilometers per hour. Somebody said 50 kilometers per hour. So 50 kilometers per hour. So we're going to see how speed can change this situation. You understand? Now, if this is inside inhabited area, so let's assume that this space here is 5 meters. That it took this vehicle to stop. You understand? Now, let us check what changes, right? So let's assume now 50 kilometers per hour. So if this vehicle is inside inhabited area, we want to know the total space that is from here to here will be. Now we assume that this one is 5 meters. We need to find this one because it is this one that changes the whole thing. Now, we said 5 times 3 is going to give us 15 meters, right? So it's going to give us 15 meters. So in 1 second, here will be 15 meters. So at the end of the day, from here to here, as we assume this one to be 5, it will be 20 meters. Okay. So inside inhabited area, so let's say the total space here, which is espacio totale de arresto, is 20 meters. Okay. Now who can remind us the limite massimo di velocità strada estrabana secondaria. So let's assume this is happening in a strada estrabana secondaria. So what is the maximum speed in strada estrabana secondaria? Who can remind us? Strada estrabana secondaria. Who can remind us the speed limit? Who can remind us? Very good. 90 kilometers per hour. So now we're not going to work with 50 kilometers again. We're going to work with 90 kilometers per hour. 90 kilometers per hour. Therefore, here we're going to change here to 9. So we're going to say 9 times 3. And 9 times 3 is going to give us 27. 27. So you see, very good. So if this was inside inhabited area, here will be 27, right? 27. And 27 plus 5 is going to give us 32, right? 32. Let me cross-check myself. 27 plus 5 is 32, okay. So it means that if this whole scenario was something that happened inside the city, then the whole of this space will be, let's say, we calculated it to be 20 meters. But if it is, in strada estrabana principally, it will be 32 meters. You understand? 32 meters. So you see, what changes or what affected this distance here is the speed that the vehicle, the red vehicle, we are driving. You understand? So speed has influence to it. It can make changes to it. You understand? So that is why that question, please let's go back to that place. If there is anything you don't understand, please remember to ask question. It is very important. So it was question number 6, right? Yes. It said Eccolo qua. Lo spazio totale di arresto non dipende dalla velocità. It is not true. It depends on velocity, because the more the velocity increase, the more the space will increase. So take note, the answer is falso to question number 6. Okay, let's answer question number 7. It said, lo spazio di frenatura aumenta se la strada è in discesa. True or false? Lo spazio di frenatura aumenta se la strada è in discesa. True or false? Lo spazio di frenatura aumenta se la strada è in discesa. Ok, lo spazio di frenatura aumenta se la strada è in discesa. Now, remember we said that spazio di frenatura, this is it, right? But you will agree with me that if this thing happen in a slope, this spazio di frenatura will increase. That's why here I said in discesa, lo spazio di frenatura aumenta, because when you are descending, I always use bicycle as an example. If you are riding bicycle, you are coming down from the slope. While you are trying to hold the brake of your bicycle, you see the bicycle moving fast, you are struggling. So when you are descending, the braking space increase. You understand? So the answer here is vero, because it said lo spazio di frenatura aumenta se la strada è in discesa. Yes, it increases when you are descending, when the road is a distance. So it increases. The answer is vero. Now let's look at number 8. It said lo spazio di frenatura aumenta se la strada è in salita. Lo spazio di frenatura aumenta se la strada è in salita. Vero o falso? Lo spazio di frenatura aumenta se la strada è in salita. True or false? So it is false because when you are climbing hill, the spazio di frenatura, which is the braking space, will reduce. Always use your bicycle or while you are running as an example. So when you're riding the bicycle on top of the hill, as you apply the brake, you see the bicycle will stop as quick as possible because you are, climbing the hill. It is only when you are descending. So that is why here, aumenta is, when something increase, you understand? Aumenta means to increase, for something to increase. So while diminuisce means the opposite, for something to decrease or reduce. So while climbing here, this spazio di frenatura will reduce. But when you are descending, it will increase. It will increase. You understand? So that is it to question number 8. And we said the answer is false. It does not increase, but it decreases. So the answer is false. Now, look at these questions here. These are, remember, we are under the topic distanza di sicurezza, but these are random questions that some of you guys sent to me. So I would like us to answer them here. So you do the, respond to the question, answer them in the comment section. While immediately after, let me say we'll do that in 4 minutes. Then after that, we do the explanation. They are not in the topic, but there are some random questions that I got, which I decided to put them together so that we answer them together here. Please leave your answers while we while we do the explanations immediately after. And we are doing that in 4 minutes. Remember, we start 3 minutes past 1, and now it's 4 minutes past 1. So we have 1 minute to each question. What is your response? What is your response? Or what are your response? 1 more minute. Okay, so we said we have 4 minutes to respond to that. Now it's remaining a few seconds before the 4 minutes we complete. Okay, so number 1, it says, con la patente di categoria B si possono guidare le macchine operatrici eccezionali. Faso. The question is saying that with the license B, that you can drive all those operating a machine, those exceptional ones, those bigger ones. It's not true, because yes, you can drive macchine operatrice with patente B, but it is those, not the exceptional ones, because the exceptional ones, you need, other license that are due for those ones, for example, patente C or whatsoever, depending on that macchine operatrice. So it is not true that patente B allow you to drive macchine operatrice, even the ones, the exceptional ones. So the answer is falso. Then question number B, it said, bisogna lasciare libere le gallerie in caso di formazioni di codici, formazioni di code di veicoli. That is, bisogna lasciare libere le gallerie in caso di formazioni di code di veicoli. The answer is falso, which means it's telling you that in a tunnel, that you need to free the tunnel. How can you free the tunnel when you already find yourself inside a traffic jam in a tunnel? So that is not true. The only thing they advise us is to make sure you maintain safety distance, so that in case of there is fire breakout, the fire will not pass from the vehicle, close to you, to your vehicle. And also, they also advise us not to bring in air from outside, to recycle the air that is already inside the vehicle. That is why, inside your vehicle, you will see these two symbols there, just like you're having it here. This one, if you look at this one, let me name it A, and B. The A, you see that there is an arrow pointed from outside towards inside the vehicle, telling you that this one is the button that brings air from outside. While the B is the one that recycles the air that is already inside the vehicle. And in a situation like this, because of air pollution, because this vehicle is, steaming, this one, all of them, there is, going to be a lot of air pollution due to the discharge that is coming from the exhaust system of these vehicles. So it is not advisable for you to on the switch A in order to bring air from outside. So you on the switch B to recycle the air that is already inside the vehicle. So it is not true that you need to free you need to leave the tunnel free. How can you do that? Because there is already a hold up or a traffic jam. So the answer is falso to question number B. Then question number C, it said nella strada rappresentata la corsia centrale è a doppio senso di circolazione. Now, I don't understand why so many of us keep failing this question that is as easy as I don't know how to describe it. Because this question here, whenever you hear la corsia, whether centrale, destra, sinistra, su, giù, wheresoever that corsia is, and they are telling you that is doppio senso di circolazione, it is capital letter falso, because the definition of corsia, they told us that corsia is meant for the circulation of one row of vehicle, So corsia can never be a double way traffic. You understand? Doppio senso di circolazione is the type of road where you have a vehicle, this one is going and this one is coming. You understand? Or let me draw it here so that you can see it here. This one is going, this one is coming. You understand? So maybe you are having a road like this. You understand? This is doppio senso di circolazione. And it is not true that a lane can be doppio senso di circolazione. Yes, carriageway can be. Yes, a road can be, but a lane can never be doppio senso di circolazione. Because where some of us get this thing confused, let's come, to this part here, so that we see it better. Now, look at it here. If you look here, the question said nella strada rappresentata. When there's nella strada rappresentata, the whole of this place is the strada. La corsia centrale è a doppio senso di circolazione. So which one is corsia centrale? Because if you want to count this corsia now, you say 1, then 2. Then you say 1, then 2. Then you say 1, then 2. 1, then 2. So this one is a one-way carriageway. This one is a one-way carriageway. This one is double-way carriageway. Remember, double-way carriageway is not a double-way lane. Where is it? Corsia. It's not corsia. This is not a corsia. This is a carriageway. You understand? So the center carriageway, yes, is a double way, but I think I've not seen any question like that referring to. So no question like that. But if you see a question like that, yes, it is vero, because if they're referring to the carriageway, yes, the answer is vero. But referring to lane, no, because even with the way I number this lane, I can hardly figure out which lane are they referring to, because they said corsia centrale. Which one is the corsia centrale? You understand? So it is not true that a corsia centrale in this image represented here is for double-way traffic. So the answer is falso. Then the question number D, it said, rispetto al veicolo che procede nel senso della freccia, la striscia continua centrale in figura si trova di norma su strada a senso unico di circolazione, which means referring to this arrow here, comparing to this vehicle that we are seeing here, that Dove? La striscia è continua centrale. That la striscia continua centrale, which is this one, si trova di norma, that you can find it normally on a road with one way. Now, let us go to where we can see the image better. Now, if we look at this image here, why am I having continuous line and discontinuous line? This is because the owner of the road, due to, now forget that this image is small. Now let's assume that this is a very long road, right? So in this long road here, you are having either a hill or a corner or a hill or corner whatsoever. Let me say something dangerous spot. You understand? So because I'm having a dangerous spot, the owner of the road, look, I'm heading towards this direction. Let me do it like this, please. So let's assume the dangerous spot is here. So I'm having, this arrow. This continuous line is to tell me that I need not to, in any case, engage on this lane reserved for vehicles that are coming from an opposite direction. Why? Because this is, let me call this one a sharp corner or a hill, whereby there is a poor visibility. You understand? So I'm not seeing the vehicle that is coming from my opposite direction. Therefore, the owner of the road wants me to remain in my lane. You understand? Before the dangerous spot. I'm not supposed to do it like, yes, it's okay like this. Before this dangerous spot, right? So what happened if this vehicle here is coming towards this direction? So when the vehicle gets here, you see that the vehicle already passed the dangerous spot. So that is why this vehicle now is having the broken line. Let me cancel some lines, please. So you see, this vehicle already passed the broken line, passed the dangerous spot. That is why it's having the broken line. So this vehicle can carry out overtaking and return to its lane. But this vehicle cannot carry out overtaking because visibility is poor. So what am I trying to say here? This road or this, this double line here is given because you are moving in a double way traffic. Example of it is this. So you are moving in a double way traffic. You look at it here. So let's assume this is me. I am climbing here. Visibility is poor. So you see, I cannot see the vehicle that is coming from an opposite direction. But because the vehicle that is coming from an opposite direction already passed the dangerous spot, which is there, you see is having the broken line. So he can overtake, but I cannot overtake because the visibility is poor. So I need to remain in my lane. Therefore, this type of road here, what you are seeing, this is a double way traffic. And this image here that you are seeing, take this vehicle to be in this position and take this continuous line to be this continuous line, then take this broken line to be this broken line. Therefore, this lane here is reserved for the vehicles that are coming from my opposite direction, while this one is reserved for me. So this is a double way traffic and not a one-way traffic. Therefore, it is not true that in this road here, on this, according to the vehicle that is moving towards this direction in this image represented here, that the center continuous line in the figure is normally placed in a one-way circulation. No, it is not true. It is falso because this is a double-way traffic. Rispetto al veicolo che procede nel senso della freccia, la striscia continua centrale in figura si trova di norma su strada a senso unico di circolazione. The answer is falso. So, guys, if we come here, for example, you see, what are we having? we are having, this is autostrada. Because I want you to know this. When a road is a one-way traffic, or when a carriageway is a one-way traffic, because like, for example, this carriageway is one-way traffic, which is senso único de circulación. Before a corner, before a hill, before anywhere you have poor visibility, overtaking is not prohibited. You understand? Just like here, this is a corner. You understand? But you can see that the lines are still broken, because if I'm coming from here now, I can overtake this vehicle. You understand? Even though I'm in a corner. Therefore, in a corner, when a road is one way, overtaking is allowed. But it is only when a road is, in a double way traffic, that, and you have one lane that is heading to each direction, that is where overtaking is prohibited. So that is another way for you to understand that question to be fast. So this one here. So guys, that is it. We are going to leave it here for today. I don't know if we are having any question in the comment section. If there is anybody who is finding any thing difficult to understand, is there anything you are not understanding, please? Okay. Now, we are going to leave it here for today. This topic, this, how do you call it? Distanza de sicurezza, by the grace of God, by, next time or next Saturday, if nothing changes, we are going to continue. Maybe we might even do the quiz differently or in a different mood on that day regarding this topic. So please stay tuned. I will always try my best to be here, and please, you also try your best to encourage me as well, so that we can always answer them together. I'm trying to see how we can, deal with numbers of questions, before you go to write your exam. So I appreciate you for your time. Have a wonderful weekend. See you some other time, so that we can continue from where we stop. And please do not forget that you can join our Zoom class by reaching out to me through this number here, 388-643-1524. You have 2 days of free classes. That is where we explain things in details. We take them topic by topic. So that is it for today. Please bear with me. We are going to stop here. I appreciate you for your time. Have a wonderful weekend.